U.S. Air Force senior weapons developers and leaders are expressing concern that the service is in danger of falling behind major rivals like Russia or China as soon as 2025 and 2030 in terms of air supremacy and sheer size. If you look at the demands on the Air Force, 15 years of counterinsurgency supporting ground troops in Iraq and Afghanistan. Of course, further back, there's Desert Storm in Kosovo. And then more recently, they've been asked to do a number of forward deployments, more F-22s to Eastern Europe to deter Russia, and theater security packages sent to Asia with F-35s. Of course, the F-35 recently saw its first combat debut in Afghanistan, and F-22's fifth-generation aircraft were used in Iraq against ISIS. So the Secretary Wilson has laid out a specific plan in conjunction with other analysts and senior leaders in the service to ask that the service be enlarged from 321 squadrons as high as 386, essentially saying the mission demands from combatant commanders exceed what's available.
The Air Force is too small for what the nation expects of us. 312 operational squadrons is not enough. So what will it take? 386.
They're asking for as many as 5 new bomber squadrons, 7 new fighter squadrons, and largely 22 new ISR command and control. There is a ubiquitous refrain that the service just simply doesn't have enough ISR, more drones, more surveillance planes, more ability to gather intelligence and information. So looking forward, there are a number of ways the Air Force is trying to offset some of its concern. Some is called the Air Force geriatric and saying that it's very far behind. So the Air Force is aggressively looking at upgrading the F-15, the B-2, and the Reaper drone, to cite a few examples. The F-15 is getting new active electronically scanned array radar, a faster computer that's one of the fastest to ever exist in a fighter jet, a wider weapons envelope to fire things like the small diameter bomb 2, which has a tri-mode seeker that can use millimeter wave, laser technology, or RF frequency to track targets on the move as far as 40 miles away. You also have things for the B-2, which include a different kind of coating to improve its stealth properties. A massive improved sensor now being developed called the Defensive Management System, which gives the aircraft an ability to recognize where air defenses might be, of course to fly around them, because there is some concern that the most modern air defenses are better able to detect stealth aircraft. And if you look,
the defense strategy tells us that we need to be able to defend the homeland, provide a credible nuclear deterrent, win against a major power while encountering a rogue nation, all while managing violent extremists with lower levels of effort. While all of those missions rely on every service working together, each of those missions relies heavily on America's Air Force.
Now, if you look back over the last 10, 15, even 20 years, the U.S. Air Force has essentially enjoyed what they call air supremacy. Not a whole lot of rivals when it comes to air-and-air engagements or very advanced air defenses. So they recognize those days might be over. With the Chinese developing fifth-generation aircraft, the J-20 and the J-31, some are expressing concern as to how advanced they just might be. Now, a lot isn't known when it comes to open-source research, but there was a Defense Science Board report in 2014 which flat-out found cyber espionage on the part of the Chinese, looking at weapons specs for the U.S., including the F-35. It's no accident, many say, that the J-20 looks very similar to the F-35 and in some ways could be a ripoff. Now, that being said, there's no indication that it's necessarily superior in any way, and of course proponents of the F-35 are confident that is the best in the world. That being said, the Air Force and other Pentagon leaders and members of Congress are flat out saying the Air Force needs to be a lot larger. Kris Osborn, Warrior Maven.